Agent Power Huddle is a daily jumpstart, giving you all the tools you need to create an amazing real estate career. Led by top experts in the field, you'll learn how to sell more houses in less time while creating the life you want. Welcome to the Agent Power Huddle.
Good morning. How's everyone doing today? I love it. I love it. Molly's driving with her sunglasses on. It's supposed to be 80 degrees this weekend. Yeah, I'll take it. I'll take it. Let's go, Washington. Shine in all your glory, right? Okay, well, today we have a fun topic. This is all about you. We're going to talk about what's working. Okay, we talk a lot about what's not working. We talk about feeling down. We talk about all these things, but what's working right now? I'm sure I have some ideas, of course, to start it off. But we have a small group, so we're going to have a mastermind. Let's mastermind about this, right? Let's talk about what's going on, what we're doing to make business happen, what we're doing to succeed right now. This year has been really challenging, I would say, for a lot of people. For most of the people that I talk to, this has been a really challenging year. It started out really slow, right? I know a lot of people who kind of went the first 4 or 5 months of the year with nothing in the pipeline, nothing in escrow. And, now there are things in escrow and things in the pipeline, which is great. So it's like a positive feeling, but then it's like, well, it's an election year. Do we really know what's going to happen at the end of the year? Right. So we can think about all these things that could potentially happen, but instead what we want to do is we want to focus on what's actually working. I think that's really important. So I'm going to share a couple things that are really working for me, and I would love you all to participate and, come off mute and share with us, because I'm sure that you all have something super valuable that you can bring to the table. So the first thing that I'm going to tell you that's really working for me is probably not probably not something that you might expect me to say, but I think the first thing that's really working for me is daily accountability. How many of you have an accountability partner or an accountability group and you attend every single day? Yeah. So the people that attend every single day have a lot more success than the people who are inconsistent about attending, just FYI. So I will tell you that the thing that really works for me is every single day I have an accountability group. We meet at 7:45. Those of you who were on this call in the very beginning, you saw me getting off that call onto this call. Okay. We meet at 7:45 every morning, and there are 4 of us. Okay. And I will tell you that's really important. Just having people daily to check in with, people to, when you go out and you put out your daily commitment. And the thing is, we all know that there's a such thing as shiny object syndrome. We all know that every day we're going to get a million things thrown on our plate at the last minute. So the reason why accountability groups and accountability first thing in the morning work is if you can get one thing done every day, just one thing, would that make you feel more productive? Would you chase that more often? I would. I do. So that's why, I start out, my morning routine is very, very particular, because by the time 8:00 comes around, I brush my teeth, I've got dressed, taken a shower, gone to the gym, I've read probably 20 pages, I've written about 2 pages out in my journal, I've done a complete plan for the week, right? I've got all my brain dumping out, and I've also set my accountability for what I'm going to do for the next few hours of my day. So that's the first thing. Daily accountability is really, really important. That's what's working really well. The second thing that's working really well right now is protecting my mornings. Protecting my mornings. I'm very I get really stressed out about my calendar when people try to put time on my calendar that's not within my allotted time. It really stresses me out. And the reason why is because my brain is productive right now. This is my productive time. So if I don't plan to be on a meeting right now, this is great because I plan this every Friday. It's a routine for me, right? So I'm here. But on a Monday, for example, do not bother me at 8:00 in the morning. I don't do any coaching calls at 8:00 in the morning. I don't do anything else other than my accountability group, and that's it. I got to protect my time, because once 10:00 rolls around, that's usually the time that all of a sudden everything's falling apart. 911s happen. Everyone needs something, right? That's when they want to book meetings here, because everyone wants a Zoom meeting for everything these days. No one can just film a Loom. By the way, that's another thing I'm going to tell you that works. Everyone wants a Zoom meeting. Let's talk about it. Let's have a meeting and talk about it. Okay. So no, that's not going to work. Okay. It's not going to work. So protecting my morning. So daily accountability and protecting my morning. So whatever that looks like for you. And sometimes people's mornings are later in the day. Sometimes they're earlier in the day, so whatever that looks like for you. For me, it's like my personal time between 4 and 8, 4 and 7:30 really is my personal time every day. 7:30 to 8 is like okay, let me start warming my brain up for work. And then 8 to 10 is really the only amount of time that I work every day, if I'm being really honest. It's the only amount of focus time that I have. So if I don't get what I need to get done in that 2-hour block, I'm going to be like crazy by the end of the week because I won't get anything done. So that's why that morning time is really precious. So daily accountability and protecting my time. And the third thing that I just told you, I kind of alluded to that's really working is utilizing technology to get rid of meetings. It's really easy to want to just hop on a call with someone and just try to solve a problem. I'm like that with my admin. So you can probably attest to this. Instead of us hopping on a meeting, it's like, hey, let's film a Loom. Tell me what you're doing. Just film a quick Loom. Show me what you did. Okay, and then let me watch it when I have allotted time to watch this, and then we'll come back and do it. There's a lot more you can get done that way. Because that way you're not waiting on a meeting to solve a problem that's probably going to bring up more problems, by the way, because meetings always bring up more to-dos, right? Every time you go to a call, you're like, cool, I've got all these things I want to clear out. And then I got a million other to-dos that are going to come from this call. And I am guilty of giving people a million to-dos. It's what I do. So that's me. So if you can if you want to eliminate time with your calendar, try doing this with your clients, try doing this with your title partners, your lender partners, everything like that. I do this a lot with my contracts right now, because we have a few in escrow right now, and they're all kind of at different phases. And I do this with my clients. Like the other day, I actually filmed a Loom video and I walked my clients through the timelines, because there was a little bit of kind of feeling like they don't really know what's going on, because it's really hard on the seller side. Sometimes they don't really know what the timelines are like. I thought we were done, and they're not really done because the loan hasn't been approved. You know what I mean? So it really helped me, rather than being, hey, let me drive over to your house. And while that's awesome and I can do that for sake of time, it really helps to just be like, hey, I wanted to walk you through this timeline. Here we go. Loom video, meeting done. Call me or email me with any questions. So there's a few things that are really working. Okay, those are just tactical, like protect your time things. Now, for business and for lead generation, I'll give you 2 things that are really working well. Direct mail. Direct mail is working really well. You got to be targeted about your direct mail. You got to make sure you're very strategic. And direct mail really works well around listings. So we do a just listed letter. We send it out to about 40 people. We send a letter to 40 people. When the listing goes pending, we send a pending postcard. The pending postcard has a home value request on there so they can scan it. When the house goes when the house gets sold, we send another one. And then we send one branding postcard every week for the next 8 weeks. And all we do is we drive people from there into our funnel, our sales funnel. Listings. So that's working really well. The other thing that's working really well right now is referrals. And I'm not talking about referrals from my past clients. I'm talking about referrals from other agents. When's the last time that you decided that you were going to pick up the phone and call an agent that you worked with that sent you a referral last year? I have one agent that sent me 4 or 5 referrals in 1 year. So I called her a couple weeks ago and I was like, hey, I haven't talked to you in a while. How's business going for you? Just want to connect. And she's like, business is going well. She's like, I've been doing some door knocking. We were talking about business, right? Next day, I get a call. She's like, hey, I'm glad you called yesterday. I actually have a client who's thinking about buying in your area. Can you help her? Okay. That works really well. And for referrals from past clients always, but referrals from agent partners. And the best way to get referrals from agent partners is to call and just connect, to be present on social media, to engage with other people on social media. Just remind them that you're there. And then remind people where you're at too. I know a lot of times people are like, you have an agent in Seattle? I'm like, dude, I got you. I can help you. depending on where in Seattle, I might give you someone else, but most of the time I can probably help you, or someone that I know very well can help you. Right. Because I have a lot of agents locally that I'm like, I don't really want to go to Snohomish County. That's very far. And so I'd have someone who would probably help up there. Right. So keeping yourself in front of other people is working really well. Okay. Did y'all get some good ideas now from there? All right. I'd love to hear some other things that are working really well for people. What do y'all got?
I'll share.
Yeah.
A couple things that are working for me. Like, it's hard to say some things working, but I have some things finally shaking out that have been coming up for a long time. Patience, which is not my strong suit. Patience is working for me.
Love that.
Finally, I'm getting that listing signed that I've been talking to them since March. It's just taking forever. And it's been like, I don't know, just pulling teeth to get a hold of one of the parties. So patience and protecting my mental health has been really, really strong. And that's something we don't all really love to talk about, but it's hard. The market's been kind of rough to me, transactions that haven't closed and lots of weird stuff, a stale listing and things. And it's easy to fall into that black hole. It's dark, it's tough, Nobody loves me, that black hole that we get into. Nobody wants to work with me. What's going on? But just protecting my mental health. So I do lots of things like meditation, audio stuff and all sorts of woo-woo stuff too. But anyway.
Hey, the woo-woo stuff, there's a science behind the woo-woo stuff. It's not just there because it's woo-woo.
There is science. Works. I will tell you that 528, 532, I forgot, hertz, music stuff really works for me. I listen to it when I go to bed, and I have lost the anxiety that I had before. Business is still kind of the same, but I don't have my heart, pounding in my chest and anxiety waking me up at night because it works.
Right. Well, and the other thing about the way it helps your business is it kind of takes that feeling of almost desperation away.
Right.
Because here's the deal, have you any one of you ever connected with someone who you can just sense desperation?
You can smell it.
You can smell it, right? It's like every word that comes out of their mouths it's desperate. It's scarcity. It's desperate, right? And so you have to do those things to protect your mental health, because what happens is the more you come across to people as desperate and scarce, you're just going to attract that forever. And it's never going to work for you. I don't ever like to say that you won't be successful. Okay. But I have a hard time believing that if you're living on a scarcity mindset and you're desperate all the time, that you're going to have large levels of success. I have a hard time believing that. No one that I've ever talked to or heard from who is widely successful says that they did it because they had a scarcity mindset and they were desperate. Ever. So I think that's really, I think that's really important, Joy. So thank you. That's really important to share. I love that. And then Suma's asking you to clarify what you said, the 527 megahertz music or whatever. You can find it on YouTube, Suma.
Yeah, I'll put in the chat what I search for, and then find one that works for you. Really works for me. It's like brain floss or something.
I listened to it at the gym this morning, actually. I was like, oh, you did? I've never done it at the gym before, but I was kind of oh, okay.
Well, that is interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Wendy came off mute a minute ago too.
Yeah. So what's working good for me is obviously positive mindset. Everybody should have one of those. I wake up, I'm like, sometimes I have to have a meeting with myself, and everybody thinks that.
Sometimes you have to hire yourself in the morning.
Like this 100% of the time. I'm not like this 100% of the time. Yesterday, it was like, okay, I need to go to yoga, but my knee hurts. I have a rash on my right butt cheek that itches like a mofo. I have cramps. And my dog looked at me. Well, if you're not going to go to yoga, you're going to fucking walk me, right? So I got up and I went to yoga. And it's just the thing is it takes you telling yourself stories. So tell yourself better stories and just do the thing. And then after yoga, I was like, I am so glad I did that. Yes, ready for my day. So anyway, you got to do those morning things. Morning mindset is everything. And then I've been super obsessed with listening to Build with Rob. So, Robin Big, ridiculousness guy. Yes. He's a freaking genius. There's 172 episodes. And I just love listening to him. He's bringing on random people that, are super successful, and they talk about how they got there. And, I'm trying to build something big too. Not Robin Big, but just something big. And so just hearing the
Bigger than Robin Big. Let's be real, Wendy.
Yeah, bigger than Robin Big. But anyway, so listening to stuff like that just really helps me like figure out what I need to do. And time blocking. Like if you're not time blocking, you're not going to do the things. Not going to do the things. So definitely just make sure you live by your calendar and wake up before the world does.
Wake up before the world does. I love it. The other one I'll add to that is Alex Hormozi. You guys, I have been on an Alex Hormozi kick. If you haven't sat down and listened to him, or if you listen to him often or you haven't or whatever, please add him. Like I could listen to him all day. He's he's so realistic. I mean, the guy's a bajillionaire. He started out with a gym. And most people know, if you know anything about the fitness industry, gyms are not a successful business for most people. Most gyms fail. And Alex Hormozi happened to make his successful. And now he owns acquisition.com. And they just buy businesses left and right. And this guy just like helps small businesses just build. So like Alex Hormozi is another one to listen to, like Robin Big or Build with Rob. I have to listen to that one. I just wrote it down. So I can add that to my playlist. Love it. Okay. I don't know if I'm up first, Jacqueline or Jean, whichever one. Take a pick. Jean. She's up here.
Okay. Yeah. One of the things that's working for me is definitely my mornings, and my evenings, because I use my mornings to motivate my mind to get going, but I use my evenings to brain dump the things from the day so I don't go to sleep with it on my mind so I can sleep peacefully.
I love that.
Because I make sure that I get it all out, because I speak this affirmation on myself every evening that my mind is not a toxic waste dump to keep holding all that in. So when I dump it all out in the evening by writing out everything, the quirk, the ups and downs of the day, once I get it out, when I get ready to go to bed, it's not on my mind that, oops, I forgot, because I let it go. So the morning when I wake up the next morning, I can put those things in order after I have done my morning prayer and meditation, then I can put them in order. So that's been working pretty well for me. It helps set my tone for my personality for the day. So when I meet with people, I'm not taking yesterday's problems into today.
I love that. And I think you guys, if you've listened, I think it's The Gap and the Gain. Have you guys read that book? Anyone read that book or have not read that book? You should add that. Cyan can probably get the link and put it in here if you want to order it. She can put it in for you real quick. The Gap and the Gain, he talks about that. By the way, Dr. Benjamin Hardy is just fantastic author. You should just go on a rabbit hole and listen to everything that he writes. It's all amazing. But I think it's The Gap in the Gain where he talks about at night, taking the time. And Wendy does this really well too. And I'm trying to get more consistent about it. It's the one thing I'm like, it's when I'm consistent about it, I love it. But, the writing your 3 wins of the day down. And then he talks about writing out 3 wins that you're going to have tomorrow. And that's probably what Jean's probably, it's like something like, it's probably some sort of what Jean's doing too, because she said she gets it all out of her mind. So she knows the next day that's what she's going into, right? She like, you're kind of already planned around what's going to happen the next day. So if you haven't, that's another really good book. Like if you all just need to book to like get you motivated right now, just listen to The Gap and the Gain. I'm telling you, it's a book I always keep on Audible. I listen to it multiple times. Okay, Jacqueline.
Okay, for me is I do pop buys. And so because I have various clients and, spread it out, I just take a city. And so this month I'll do the city of Covina. Next month I'll do up here up on the hill, Victorville. So I do pop buys to make my connection because I'm not always connecting with them on the phone. So I'll connect with them in person. The other thing is that keeps my mindset is Les Brown. I like listening to Les Brown, where he came from, where he is now. So I like listening to Les Brown. And the other thing is to keep my mindset, because I do prospecting. And so every hour I have a little cube, and the cube I turn it on. It's on for an hour for me to prospect. I stop for about 10 minutes. Within that 10 minutes, I'm doing affirmations. I have some affirmations. I do the affirmation. Then I go back and I start prospecting. So every hour, what I'm doing is once I take a break, I'll go head on and do affirmations, and then go and continue on. So that keeps me, my mind still set.
I love that.
As,
That's really good. Now, do you do the affirmations in your own voice, or do you read them out loud? Like, how do you do them?
I do them, my own voice. I read them out loud.
Read them out loud. Yeah.
Yes.
Love that. So Sabrina Shaw, if any of you know Sabrina Shaw, one thing that she does that I thought was awesome regarding affirmations is she recorded them on a voice memo recording. And so she listens to them. She listens to her own, she wrote her own affirmations, recorded them, and then put them in, so now she walks around and she listens to her affirmations. So that's another maybe affirmation area. But I thought that was a pretty smart idea.
When I'm walking. Yeah, maybe when I'm walking, I could do that. I could put that on.
It's pretty cool because it's she's like, I'm hearing myself talk to myself, right? So it kind of trains your brain how to talk to yourself, which is kind of cool.
Yes.
So I love that. I really like the taking a break and doing your affirmations. And I think that's really important. I'm taking that away from this call. I don't do that. I think that's a great thing because I think especially about whether it be marketing or social media content or prospecting or whatever you're doing, you can't go at it for a higher 4 or 5, 6 hours without having to remind yourself that you're amazing and you're doing what you need to do. And
yes.
So,
and it's almost like what she was just talking about, dumping, because as you're prospecting, you have all these negative stuff, these no's, or hang-ups, or someone to cuss you out, or whatever it may be. So you have to go back and it's almost like gas. It's almost like gas. We running, your car is running, and eventually you got to stop at the service station and gas up. So it's the same thing. I'm prospecting, and then I'm dumping out, but now I got to put back in. So that's how I kind of somewhat look at it. Yeah.
I love that. That's such a good way to look at it. You're out. Okay. Feed. It's like food.
That's exactly right.
It's like food. I love that.
Right.
Okay, I'm taking that away. That gave me goosebumps. I love that. Woo! I like that. Okay, that was a good one. All right, what else? Who else has something working? What's working for you? Oh, and Ellen just commented, Jacqueline, she likes her affirmation on your signature line. I take 100 listings in 2024. Let's do it, girl. Let's do it.
Thank you.
All right. Anybody else? You want to share what's working for you? I know that there's probably some other things that y'all have, some tips that we haven't shared yet. Suma.
Yes, I am a calm, quiet person. That is my, I think, plus actually, whatever the economy up and down. I'm in the industry from 20 years. I usually save a lot. I don't spend just like that. So that keeps me, in good terms. And I like to talk to the people. I just talk. That's all I do. And this year, like everybody, I didn't have much listings, but I'm okay. Talking to the people, it gives the energy,
I love it. Just talking to people. Simply talking to people.
No need to waste the money. Just talk. And they also like it. Suma, you are the one who calls me, So
yeah. Simply talking to people.
Friend and business together. That is the only one I tell everybody. Talk to people. Yeah.
Thank you, Suma. I love that.
Good.
One other thing that is working really well right now to kind of keep my mindset in the positive is to kind of piggyback off Suma's talking to people is I like to, Jacqueline says she does pop buys. Okay. I have a lot of clients who are small business owners. So I will constantly just pop into their businesses and just support their business. But Sunday, for example, I went into one of my past clients. I own a coffee shop up here. And I was on my way to an appointment. So of course, and I was late for the appointment. And then of course I decided to get coffee, even though I was already running late. but it wasn't a listing appointment, so it's fine. But of course, because I was already running late and I was in a hurry, of course there was a line. And I'm not talking like a little line. I'm talking like a line that was deeper than any line I've seen in a long time at a coffee shop. It's like, okay. But the problem is, this is the problem, not really a problem, but the problem is I walk in the door, they're like, oh, hey, look, the owners are working, you know, they're owner operators. So they're working. They're like, hey, Lynea. And I was like, oh, hey, Jen. And they're like, how's it going? I'm like, great. And they're talking to me. So I can't leave. Okay. So I'm running late to an appointment. Probably didn't need to make the decision to stop and get coffee. And if I really needed coffee, I could have stopped at Starbucks. Okay. Just gone through the drive-through at Starbucks. But no, I chose to stop and go to, there's a reason, right? There's a whole reason I did it because it's my clients and I want to see them. Anyway, so I'm in line and I look at the guy behind me and he's looking at me and I look at my watch and I'm like, man, that damn Murphy, that law is always right. I'm in a hurry. I decided to stop and get coffee and of course that line's long. And he's like, I know. He's like, I hate Murphy. And I was like, me too. And so it was just like this really cool rapport that we started. And he's like, I'll make a bet with you. I said, what's the bet? He was like, 20 minutes. And I was like, sitting there, I'm like, oh, my appointment starts in 15 and it's a 35-minute drive. Okay, I'll take that bet. So we're sitting there and we kind of started laughing. He's like, oh, I'm just kidding. I really love Jeff and Val. They're really good friends of mine. And I was like, oh yeah, they're great. He's like, oh, how do you know them? And I said, oh, funny thing. I helped them buy their estate that they live in. And he was like, oh, you're in the real estate business. I said, I am. He's like, are you going crazy right now with all the stuff happening in the real estate business? And I was like, I think you have to be slightly crazy to be in real estate. Anyway, kind of good rapport. Anyway, walked out, have a listing appointment with the guy. Okay, that's what's working is talking to people, to what Suma is saying. That literally cost me a $5 cup of coffee. And the cool thing about that was that I got so much affirmation from my past clients, right? My past clients were like, oh, Matt, you met Lynea. Oh, she's the best agent. She's our real estate agent. Our family's used her. She's the best. And this is like in front of a busy restaurant, remember? Okay. So there's so much affirmation happening right there. Like, what is that called? Validation, I said. So that's a better word, the third party validation. So talking to people and just being a normal human. I did not go in there to try to get a listing appointment. I went in there to get a cup of coffee and say hi to some people that I knew would make me feel better, because you all know that sometimes you just need to talk to your past clients. If you're feeling kind of down and you feel like you have a bunch of transactions that are kind of going to crap, like on the crapper right now, you need to talk to some past clients to remind you that, no, you are amazing at what you do. Just because something's a little stressful right now doesn't make you bad at what you're doing, right? And so you just need to go talk to those people. And that's what I needed. And that's why I did it. And this is what happened. So talking to people and not going at it with remember, I think it was last week I was talking about having intentional conversations. Okay, so yeah, this wasn't an intention. I didn't intend to talk to him about real estate, but when the topic came up, it became a more intentional conversation, right? It became a more let me establish a better relationship with you. It's not about transactions at all. And so I think, let me go add one more thing that I think is working really well, and that has always worked really well for me, is getting the word transaction out of my mouth. Because someone yesterday said to me, this transaction, this is not a transaction. So get the word transaction, get the word lead out of your mouth. I hate it when people say lead. I hate it when people say transaction. This is relationships. And there's two very different types of real estate agents, I believe. There's two very different types of ways that people operate their real estate business, transactional and relationship based. And they're very different. And I don't always think that you can transition, or you can, but it's a skill set to learn one or the other, if you will. Right? So I think that's what I would say add is working. And Jackie, I love Jackie. Come on, Jackie, share what's working. I love Jackie's insights.
It's not that, but it's in line with what you're saying. I hate the word transaction. Don't talk about it as a transaction. So I want your feedback on what you think of this. Okay. I used to work with an agent that we do open houses together, and we would share, people and whatnot, potentials. And she would always talk about them, 2 seconds afterwards, as her client. And I thought, my goodness, they're not your client yet. What do you think about that? Is it like kind of like a vision for the future, like manifestation kind of thing, or I don't know?
No, I say the word client. I say the word client when they haven't closed a transaction with me. Okay, and when they have not bought or sold, I call them a client. Because
but you have somewhat of a relationship, right?
Right. So I would probably say customer if I don't have a relationship with them. I have a potential new customer. Right. I think that a customer and a client are a little bit of a different sort of, you have to have really good customer service. You have to have better client service, right? When someone becomes a client, it's kind of like, I don't even know what the actual literal definition of client is, but the way I look at client is like when they become a client, like my past clients, they're still my clients. Like I still think of them as my clients.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Or like people that maybe haven't bought or sold yet and they haven't yet signed an agreement with me, but we have a strong relationship and they call me every couple of weeks to check in or whatnot. I still call them my client. Right. So that's kind of what I would say to that.
Okay.
Was this helpful?
Yes.
Okay. If you also want to know what's working, go back and watch last week's replay. Darius talked about sync. That's working for him. So you should go listen to that too. He talked about it a lot last week. So if you want to know what else is working, there you go. But we got a lot of good mindset tips. And you heard from mostly everyone that spoke up today talked about mindset. That is the most important thing. There was some things that you learned from Jean, from Jacqueline, Wendy, Suma, me, Joy. You learned something from every single person, but every one of them said mindset. So you've got to protect that space. So whatever that is for you. Did we get the link for the gap in the gain yet in the chat? I didn't know if I saw it yet. So no, Anna, are you waving your hand at me? Okay. So hold on one second here. If you don't have it, let me just grab it for you real quick. Sorry about the delay here, people. Recommended reading. Well, you know what I'm going to do here? I'm just going to share this with y'all. I'm going to share my,
on the recommended reading. I was looking in there. So I was searching Amazon.
So we have our recommended reading list. Do y'all have access to this? Did I give this to all of you? My recommended reading list. I think I've got like 100 books on here that I would strongly recommend reading. Do y'all want this?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah?
It does. Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to put this link in the chat for you right now. And I have links on there for you to easily purchase things if you want. There you go. Grab that link real quick. That is my recommended reading list.
Thank you.
So it's a lot of how I build my business. It's how I write content. It's how I talk to my clients. It's kind of like these are all the books that have made an impact. And also, just so you know, there's some fiction that I threw in there because I strongly believe in the power of reading fiction, which is another thing I do for my mindset. God, now we're going over. Sorry, I hate this. I hate when I do this, but it is what it is. Another thing I really do to protect my mindset is I read a lot of fiction. Lots of fiction. Because if you can find a really good book and it can the reason I love fiction so well is like there is no other type of genre or type of general book out there that does a better job at visualization. And if you really want to learn how to visualize something, do yourself a favor and read a good novel. Like I think the one that I threw on here was All the Light We Cannot See. It's a thing on Netflix. Netflix ruined it. Don't watch the TV show. Read the book. The book is like the TV show does nothing with the book. But do yourself a favor and read some good fiction. It's going to help you visualize. It's going to take away that stress. I read fiction at night, every night. I read it. Yeah, and Joy just made a really good point that fiction reminds us that we are part of a bigger human story. Fiction helps you become a better storyteller. Fiction helps you become more imaginative, helps you be more creative. So there's a reason why I push fiction. I'm a fiction pusher. Do it. Just read yourself some good fiction. If you want some really good fiction novels, I have about 150 up in my library right there. Okay, I can send you one of them if you want some of them. Okay. Then if you want a book, just let me know and I'll send you some books, okay? And I read all types of fiction, just so you know. Everywhere from historical fiction to smut. Not gonna lie. I read it all. because every single one of them teaches me, okay, oh my gosh, I get inspired every time. I just finished a really good book called Wilder. I think it's an author. It's on TikTok or something. I don't know. But like, I just finished that book and I got inspired. All of a sudden I was like, yeah, I want to create some content. Okay. And I don't get like that very often, as much as I love content. Okay. But I did do that. So read yourself some fiction. That's going to help you. That's on the book list. Isabel, that brought up a question.
Yeah, I just wanted to share with you guys that one thing that works well for me week by week is attending consistently the masterminds with you, Wendy, some others that I also connect with, and just also executing something from what I learned from you guys. And that's really, really helpful.
I love that. Thank you. Jesse Zagorski.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Isabel. Jesse Zagorski. If you don't know Jesse, then you're missing out. Jesse Zagorski says, education without implementation is just entertainment.
Yeah.
So you send Isabel just hit the nail on the head. You attend these calls. If you don't go to Wendy's Tech Tuesday call, you need to. Okay. If you don't, you absolutely must. That must be something that you put on your list. Okay. Unfortunately, I have a call that interferes with that, so I can't go on very often. But guarantee you will learn something new every week. Okay. And also, if you want to be in the mind of Wendy, okay, I want to be in Wendy's brain. I'm like, how does this girl do it? That's what you need to do. So there you go. There's another call you should be joining. If you don't do it, you should be doing that every Tuesday. But yes, thank you, Isabel, for saying that. It's implementing what you're learning. Okay, that's it. Everyone, have a great day.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Bye.
If you'd like more information or to get connected to the Agent Power Huddle, join our free Facebook group. This call was designed for the agents in our EXP organization, but open to any agent from any brokerage. If you're a guest and you're interested in learning more about EXP or our specific resources within the Agent Collective, reach out to the person who invited you to this call to get more info. Produced by the Agent Collective Media Network.